Hey everybody, how's it going today? My name is John, and I'm your crypto security advisor. So today, it is Monday. You know what that means? Means Technical Analysis Monday. And so for the past couple weeks, we've been looking at a coin called THOR, specifically THOR Swap. And so we did a basic technical analysis on that coin. We did a little bit of looking at the Fibonacci sequence thresholds, and as well as drawing a few lines here and there. And so today we want to follow up on that. So without further ado, I'm going to share my screen here. What's going on here? Oh, yes. Okay. So I will get into my previous video here. So my previous video, we were talking specifically about the retracement. If I scroll forward here, we have our little line here, and I said I wouldn't be surprised if we retraced back to 15 cents. Now, if we go back to THOR swap here, guess what happened? We are exactly pretty much retracing back to the 15-cent line. So there's a few things that happened. We can see, let's do this here. Working on the fly. So let's click on this. We'll extend the Fibonacci sequence all the way out here. That should be good. So we'll solidify that. We had our breakout line. Now, anytime we want to do technical analysis, we want to make sure that we have as many data points as possible. So from here, we can see that we had that triangle happen. So you can see that there was support here and resistance here. So the support, we didn't actually go down to that support level. I think there was a little wick right there that we did. However, now we're back down to there. So that's where the took off those bands there. I'll talk about those in a second. We did retrace back to that support line there. So there was resistance at this 0.194133 level right here, and that's to be expected. So we had a pump, and then people were taking profits. It looked as though we were going to take off. However, the market kind of dumped, and so that's where we get this retracement. So now we want to update our chart. So we're going to move this to the latest line here. So we want to make sure that we're doing that. And now we can see it can either break up to the upside or have more downside. And it looks like it's going to be more downside. So we can actually go down to about 7 cents, possibly, right? Now, anytime you are doing technical analysis, here I will bring up myself here. Anytime you're doing technical analysis, you want to make sure you have as many data points as possible. And so right now, we've just been playing around with 2 data points. We have the fib levels, so the various colored lines here, and we also have this one line here that we drew from the tops and what the trend is. However, there's one more thing that we can add. I mean, there's quite a lot, but for today's video, we want to cover one more, which is called the Bollinger Bands. So if I turn this on, look, we have 3 additional data points here. And so we have the top line, the medium line, and the bottom line. And so these are called moving averages. And what moving averages are is it takes a look at where the price is actually going. And so we can see as price went up and it retraced back down, we can see that, I believe it's the 20-day moving average, slightly increased, and now it's following a trend back downwards, right? And so we can take a look at this. For example, if we look at the bottom average here, it looks like we are hitting that line. And so that's one additional data point that we can use to say, hey, you know what? It looks as though we are oversold because the average is actually right here, about the 18-cent mark. However, we are hitting that lower line, which means we are oversold in the market. And so anytime we look at something that is oversold, we want to jump in. Sometimes. This is not financial advice, of course, but it's yet an additional data point that we can consider. Now, let's say we were looking at the 20 cent and it was on this top line here for the moving averages. We could say, hey, you know what? It's probably overbought. Now, there's a difference between being overbought and looking for a pump. So if we take a look way back here, we can see that, how do I do this here? Still a little noobish on this here deck screener. I've used other ones in the past, but there we go. So if we take a look at the Bollinger Bands here, they're quite narrow, and then all of a sudden it broke out. Now this breakout It kind of broke way out of that top line there, but then of course it retraces backwards. And so anytime we see that, we can say that, hey, you know what? There might be a profit-making opportunity here. It might pump up. But now we have more and more data points into the equation, right? And so we have the fib levels. It looks like we are at support. We have the moving average, so we are now oversold. And we take the line that we drew from the latest top here to where the tops would usually be. We're getting kind of close to that pump again. So taking all that into consideration is how we do technical analysis. Now, I'm not sure if I want to make predictions this video. From my own research, it seems like there's going to be an additional dump in the market, in the entire crypto market for the next month or so. And so just taking a look at one coin and trying to predict where it's going to go price-wise might not be the wisest thing. A lot of times we want to take a generalized approach. I believe I covered that in my first video there. And we want to take a look at the overall sentiment of the market, where it's heading, right? And so we want to take all these data points together, and then we can make an educated guess. Now, it's still a guess at the end of the day. We cannot predict a future. However, patterns occur. And so we can trust those patterns. However, we got to make sure that we do our proper risk analysis. And so if you want more information on risk analysis, I did a previous video on that, and I'll probably do an additional, more in-depth video in the future. So that is our update, our technical analysis part 3 video on THOR. So hope this is useful. And I think we'll have a few more videos coming up looking at THOR and THOR swap and how the price action works. And we'll also bring in more data points as we go along. And I highly encourage you to not only do your own research on this type of stuff, but also do your own work. Do this. Go on to Dex Screener and find THOR and do the technical analysis. This is one of the best ways you can learn. I'm learning on the fly here. I haven't really done this a whole lot before. I've done it for a few projects, but now I'm going through the process and understanding it myself as well, just doing these videos. So that is it for today, and I hope this was useful, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.